Welcome to the Totally Honest Cooking Show. I'm Mark. Today we are making honey jack and cherry coke ribs. We're going to start by looking down at our rack of ribs in awe, and then we're going to take a paper towel and we're going to grab hold of this membrane here, and we're just going to pull it off. It might come easy. I've been told that this is the easiest way to do this and that it might come right away. I've also found that that is lies, and really you only want to do this if you like your ribs to be fall off the bone tender. The whole point of doing it this way is to make them fall off the bones. You can tell that I am struggling with this, in fact, but that's okay. That's part of the process, apparently. See, I'm ripping meat off. I don't like that. I don't like this, Father. That's okay. Ooh, there we go. We'll grab it from here. Yeah, see? Now it's going to come right up. You made me look a fool in front of the company. Yeah, it comes right off if you grab it from the right area, apparently. I remember struggling with this the last time I made this too. So that's interesting. I guess I've got to barbecue more. I do not have a backyard. If you have a backyard and are allowed to grill, then I recommend doing this on a barbecue grill. You're going to get smoke. It's going to be good. I'm doing, like I said, 2 racks. They were buy one, get one free. I'm doing this one fall off the bone tender, and I'm going to do the other one more snappy. So if you want your ribs more snappy, you're going to skip the dry brine and you're going to go right from the rub to the oven. I'm not doing that with this one, but we're going to have 2 side by side, and we're going to do the ocular pat down on them and compare when we're done. So we're going to flip these back over. We're going to start by adding 1 tablespoon of salt to our bowl. Then I'm going to follow that up with some brown sugar. And these recipes never say light brown sugar or dark brown sugar. I usually assume dark brown sugar if we're talking barbecue, just because there's more molasses in it. Light brown sugar is still molasses, but there's less. We're going to add in 1.5 tablespoons of dark brown sugar. And again, it doesn't have to be exact. If it's not exact, that's fine. Then we're going to add in a teaspoon of black pepper. That's like 6.5 rotations on my pepper grinder. And then we're going to add in a teaspoon of cayenne and half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. And I'm trying to open this and it's already open. That is beautiful. Totally Honest Cooking Show. Leave it in. Why not, right? Okay. So once everybody's in there, you're just going to mix it up. I'm going to use my favorite spoon. My favorite spoon is the one that caught fire that one time. That's okay. This is really simple. You just want to make sure you mash up that brown sugar so that it works its way together. If you want to get in there with your hands and do that, that's fine too. Yeah, this is much. Just use your hands. Skip the spoon. The spoon is a mistake. I'm sorry, Mr. Spoon. I didn't mean to call you a mistake. Anyway, so we're going to get out some mustard, yellow mustard. You're going to add in, I'm going to say that's about half a cup. And then we're going to add in our liquid smoke, which we've got a couple kinds of liquid smoke here. I'm going to say let's not go with the mesquite. The mesquite is a stronger flavor. Supposedly this is better with beef than with pork. This one is still good, so we're going to use it, and we're just going to throw about half a teaspoon in. If it overflows, that's okay. And then we're going to whisk that together. Smaller whisk. Easy enough, right? Now, if you happen to have a brush handy, you can do it that way. If you don't have a brush, I have a brush somewhere. I didn't put it on the prep table. So we're just gonna take our, let's see, what implements do I have in front of me? We're gonna take this dude and we're just gonna slather. This recipe comes to us courtesy of Josh at Mythical Kitchen. Yeah, let's just get in there with our hands. Why not? Notice that we are just throwing this on there with reckless abandon. If we need to make more, we have the ingredients to make more. I'm not going to do this for both ribs. I feel like you are probably okay seeing this once. If I had a bigger prep station, then we would do both at the same time and I'd show you the side by side. But we're going to stick this in the fridge for about 4 hours to let the salt work its way in. It's going to dry brine. Once the ribs are coated, you're just going to stick them in the fridge for 4 hours and cover them up. I'm going to cover it with foil inside a baking tray, and we'll be back in 4 hours when I'll throw both in the oven. Okay, we're back. Our ribs have given up a lot of moisture. It's been about 4 hours. We do want to pat some of that off of there just because why not? But you don't want to be too aggressive about it because you don't want to remove too much of this lovely brine that we made. You just don't want it to be wet. So then we're going to wrap it in foil, and when obviously this turns out to be not enough foil, we're just going to take the other hunk of foil that we used in the refrigerator and wrap it around the ribs. Then we are going to throw them in the oven for 3 hours on 350. You could do it low and slow for a more fall off the bone style rib, but remember, I'm not particularly fond of that. I like my ribs to be more ribby, I guess is the wording that I'm looking for here. So 350, 3 hours. We're going to start our barbecue sauce about an hour or two in because it's going to take at least 40 minutes, and yeah, see you then. An hour and a half has passed and I've poured a bunch of Coke into this pot in order to begin making our barbecue sauce. I'm making a double batch, so I'm putting in 6 cans of Coke. I wanted to buy a 2 liter of cherry Coke. They were out of 2 liters of cherry Coke, and they did not have cans of cherry Coke either. So I got this lovely cherry vanilla, which I think will accent the 1 cup of Honey Jack whiskey that we are putting in. And these flavors will go together and it'll be fine. We're also going to add in half a cup of brown sugar, which will then make everything bubble up nicely. A whole onion cut into fourths. I'm going to use the onion that I used to make watermelon salad, and I also have this other onion. It's kind of little. I'm going to cut that in half as well and drop that in. We're also going to add 6 cloves of garlic. If you don't want to make a double batch, you're going to half that. And it might be, depending on the numbers, that I'll adjust in the comments. I always leave my adjustments under the video, and they're always adjusted. Sometimes when you watch cooking shows, you find that the description, their printed recipe, is different from the recipe on the show, especially on YouTube, and it's hard to tell sometimes whether they're making adjustments or whether there's an error. This recipe I am a little leery of because the printed version also includes cherries, and there are no cherries in the recipe at all, even in the ingredients list. So it's hard to know exactly what the amounts are going to yield. We put our garlic in, we put our onion in, we put our brown sugar in. Now we're going to give it a mix, bring it to a boil, and let it boil for anywhere between 20 and 40 minutes. I will let you know. Back soon. It's boiling away, and we're going to take this time. It's been about 25 minutes. I'm going to strain out the onion and the garlic. Then we're going to add in some additional seasonings and liquids. Right now we're straining out as best we can everything. It looks like we got everything. It's a little bit difficult to see below the surface, and some of it will have totally fallen apart in the soupiness that is this Coca-Cola bath. This is going to, once we put it on the ribs under higher heat, give us some lovely candy tones. You know, it's cherry candy basically. So we're adding in half a cup of white vinegar and 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 4 tablespoons of tomato paste, which theoretically will help this to thicken up a little bit, in addition to the fact that we've boiled off a lot of the water. And then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of the brine that we made earlier. So we're just going to whisk it in. At this point, I don't know how long it's going to take to... Ooh, don't go gung-ho with your whisking. You don't want boiling Coke to get everywhere. That was almost a whoopsie doodle. So far, no burns on this show. That's good. But yeah, from here the recipe says let it go another 40 minutes, which I don't believe is probably right, but I'm going to keep timing and see what happens. Okay, it's been about 50 minutes. We have taken the ribs out of the oven. We're getting ready to pour the sauce into a bowl. Notice that it's slightly syruped. It's not like the thickness of a barbecue sauce that you see in the store that you might be used to, but the color has changed. Okay, I've unwrapped my presents, and now I am going to go ahead and baste this. I think that this is going to be one of those things that you take out of the oven and baste frequently. I'm not going to stop every time and do that, but I will let you know how many times I take it out. The one on the right, I believe, is the one with no membrane. It is falling apart a little bit more. You can tell because it's falling apart while I sauce it. The one on the left has the membrane. I also think that when I made the rub for the one on the left, I left out part of the smoked paprika. Like, there's still obviously smoked paprika in it, but I did mess that up. And look, it still looks delicious. So once again, the motto of the Totally Honest Kitchen: admit to your mistakes, because one, mistakes help for growth, but also notice that even if you screw up, your screw-ups don't ruin dinner. Your screw-ups are just lovely little accidents, and it's fine. I think Bob Ross said that. Anyway, I'm going to baste these up, and then we're going to put it back into the 400-degree oven for at least 10 minutes. We might end up putting it in for longer as we baste. That we will judge based on how it looks as we go. Here we are about 10 minutes later. I took them out and basted them again once. I'm now going to baste them again and serve. I am putting this in the fridge for a little while. Actually, I might just let it sit out and cool a little bit, and once it's cool, I'm going to pour it into squeeze bottles. And then this week, if I want to make barbecued chicken or barbecued pork chops or barbecued anything, I'm going to have this sauce that I made this weekend, and if I want extra sauce on my ribs, I can do that. Okay. Now, if you don't mind, me and this plate have some alone time that we gotta do. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell, and I'll see you next time.